Parshat bhaalotcha. If you remember, we did a little bit of a halachic angle on Tuesday regarding blowing trumpets during the time of war. It's a biblical mitzvah during the time of tragedy, war, hunger, famine, whatever, earthquake, whatever it is, to go and blow trumpets. It's from our parsha. And it gets confused because you have all the trumps in our parsha about when they moved, when they stayed still, when they called all the leaders to come. And in the middle there's a pasuk there in the times of crisis. And all the other pasukim were just historical. That's a halachic pasuk the Rambam brings down, halacha l'maisa. And the Achronim grapple, why don't we blow with the trumpets today? And they all try to figure out. That was Tuesday's discussion. Whenever I see in the parsha some nice halacha discussion, as I do that on Tuesday. Then Thursday we do some of the hashkafa points. So a piece of the parsha that really screams out to me is the Yitro discussion. Yitro Moshe, what went on between the two of them? Where Yitro says, I'm out of here. A lot of arguments. He said, I'm leaving for good. I'm just going home and coming back. So we could spend mamish hours on this topic. What was his position? Was he leaving for physical reasons? Some want to say he didn't have an achala. Rashi wants to say he didn't have an area. It wasn't an area. I said, sorry, Moshe, I'm going back where I can have a proper land. Others say I'm getting older. For me to go ahead and make aliyah at this age, it's not so simple. Thank God we know we can do it at any age, Baruch Hashem, but he didn't know that, and he said, I just not for me. So some say it was just physical reasons. Some say it was spiritual reasons he didn't come. Some want to say that he said, Moshe, we already have the sun and the moon here. You are the sun. Aaron is the moon reflecting off of you. Yoshua is the moon reflecting off of you, and what can I do? I can't really contribute over here. And Moshe says, not true. You have skills, you can contribute that no one else can. You've already proved yourself. How did he already prove himself? He saw Moshe Rabbeinu sitting all day judging the people. What did he say? We could do it different. We could do it different. What exactly was going on there that Moshe didn't think of this system that Yitro thought of? That's a nice discussion in Parshat Yitro, but be that as it may, he came up with an idea. So Moshe said, Yitro, you are special, you're unique, you've already contributed, and you could continue to contribute. And some want to say, you have certain international political skills that we don't have. You have connections with the nations around us. You are the Mike Huckabee of the Midbar. That's it. You have certain skills, connections. You do. You do. It's it. It's true. We should send that message to Mike Huckabee. Okay? And it's interesting because he, on the one hand, a Christian Zionist, religious Christian Zionist, unbelievable support of the Jews, and Yitro, his journey that he was on. So, and who knows where Mike Huckabee's journey is going to take him. We never know. But he said, you have skills, and you can help us deal with other nations.
The president of Argentina.
No one knows. I know when no one else is calling him by his real name. His name is Elvis Presley. I'm the only one who noticed. For 30, 40 years after he died in 78 or so, there's been Elvis spottings, right? He's here with Trump, and no one's saying, yes, he's got the Elvis. He's total Elvis.
Elvis is Jewish, by the way.
It's true. That's true. Maybe that explains.
Right, why he's so pro-Israel.
So maybe that explains his support for idiots all coming together. Anyways, so you are the Mike Huckabee. You have connections. And then some connect this with the Abarbanel. That what? Some connect with this with the Abarbanel. The Abarbanel actually said, you know where the wood came from for the building of the Mishkan? You know where? The Medrash says Yaakov planted it and brought it to Israel when they first came down. That's a Medrash. Abarbanel says they bought it from other nations. There was a commerce. There was trade. And therefore some want to connect the Emek Adava, the Netziv, with the Barbanel, that we need your help. You have international relations, that we need your help with commerce and other things. You are unique. You're not just, he said, I'm a candle, a nair, and we already have a sun and a moon. It's not true. You also are a sun. You also have a special role to play. And I think it's a great message for every Jew. Everyone's unique. I just mentioned, I was in a class in Pesach, and there's one Rebbe, Rabbi Brown, I could say his name. I walk in, And teaching Gemara is not easy. And it's very skill-based, especially fifth. He teaches sixth grade, teaching the words and the skill. What did he ask? What did he answer? What did he ask? What did he answer? And it could be very, very technical. And I've never seen anything like that. 40-something years, they have the kids strong to weak. Everyone is with every word that he's saying. He's got it. He's got a call that I do not have. I think I was a decent Rebbe over the years, but he's got it. He's got some unique thing that most Rebbe don't have. He has his unique trait somehow. It's a certain presence. I can't put my finger on it. It's a presence and a way to explain and a clarity that he just explained word by word. Oh my God, I already know it's listening. It's amazing. It's beautiful. So he has that skill that I haven't seen anyone with that level. Each Rebbe has his own skills. Each person, we have our own contributions. Rabbi Twersky used to joke about himself. People said I wrote 90 books. It's not true. I wrote one book and just repeated it 90 times. Right? And what was the topic? Self-esteem, low self-esteem. It's just not true. I can respectfully argue with Rabbi Twersky on that. Each book had its own beauty to it, but he certainly put self-esteem on the map. He put a lot of things on the map, and that was certainly one of them. But self-esteem, that you're unique and you're special. B'shvil li nivra olam, the Gemara says. World's created for me. On the one hand, it's not a gaiva, arrogant statement. It's just that I have my unique skills. So that, according to some, is Moshe's message to Yitro. Very, very beautiful. It wasn't just a practical thing. Ramban wants to say, you say you're going to get no wealth, you won't have any nachla, we're going to make sure you have that. So that's more just pragmatic, which is also an important part of the discussion. You make aliyah, I need to know the pragmatic aspect, that's fine. But others want to say that it was more of a spiritual discussion, where I could have more hashpah there than here, which is an amazing question. And thank God we are all here discussing this, but Baruch Hashem, I'm not in the States discussing this now because you can make a real argument. I was at Rambam Masifta and Haftar, teaching there, and in Farakway, B'nai Torah. So I don't know what's going to be here in Israel. You can have a real discussion. Do you say you come to Israel even if you're going to be a street cleaner? Doesn't matter. Forget about what contributions you're going to make to society. You just come, and whatever happens, happens. There are those that say, no, you do, as much as you're a big Zioni, and you want to come, and you want to be back in Israel, but wait, you could have hashpah, more influence there than here, than some say that should be part of the cheshbon. It's not a simple question at all. Of Herschel Schechter, Rosh Yeshiva of YU, the Talmud Muvak, the ultimate student of Rav Soloveitchik, knows Kola Torah Kula. So he discussed this over the years. He very much has a heart here in Israel about YU. All the students at YU, all the Rebbes at YU, they come from the Rav to Rav Schechter, and other Rebbes too, but you have Rav Willig or Sobolovsky, you have so many giants. YU, the lineup at YU is crazy. People, Havdil, thought the New York Yankees in the 40s, that was the lineup. That's a joke. YU, look at the staff at YU, that is a lineup. That's a lineup. It's unbelievable. And the head of the pyramid, for the Rav died in 93, so for quite a few decades, the head of the pyramid is whom? Rav Schechter. It's not so simple to start leaving, and he talks about it. He spoke about this. He even said he had a discussion with Rav Shapiro, the Rosh Yeshiva Merkaz Harav, about this. And Rav Shapiro, you're not going to get more Tzioni than anyone in Merkaz Harav, Rav Kook's Yeshiva. And he said, not a simple decision. So thank God we're all here. I grappled with it in the States, back and forth. I don't know what's going to be. If I make aliyah, I have more hashpah there, back and forth. And you have to know, are you being objective in your assessment, or you just make an excuse because it's easier to stay than go? And you have to really try to be honest. What's fascinating is I spoke to Rav Ruvain Feinstein about it, but I spoke to Rav Kusman, a gadol of Gedolnim, and it could be not one person heard of him in the room. Anyone heard of Rav Gustman? You heard of him? Netzach Yisrael, Ramban Street, Ibn Ezra Street in Yerushalayim. If you ever go there, the shul is still there. They fixed it up over the years. And Gadol of Gedolim in Europe, he was 1920. Rav Chaim Moshe Rezhensky and the Chafetz Chaim, he was on the Beis Din with them when he was a kid. It's not normal what level he was on. And the end of his life, he was here. He was an unknown. In the yeshiva world, they all know who he is. But outside, he's just not known. But it didn't matter to him. He didn't need to be known. Giant of giants. So I was here in 1990. And I said, I'm a Rebbe in the States, and Baruch Hashem's doing well there. I think I'm doing well. I hope I'm doing well, but I don't know if I come here. I don't know what's going to be. And he looked up. He must have been in his 90s, said he, move here. That was it. And then I said, but I'm not sure what. Move here. It took me 10 years to listen, but okay, I finally made it. But it could be that for him, no. Eretz Yisrael, and he was known to be a Tzioni, even though he was totally yeshivish, and he even told people to go to the army. He wasn't a typical Haredi Gadol in that sense of the word. And Halavai, we had more like him around, especially during the crisis now with the army and the government falling apart. Haredim army, what a topic. So it could be that he maintained you come no matter what, and he didn't really care about my cheshbonot. But Rav Herschel, Shechter, and others say, no, you have to make it. But either way, that question whether halachically make aliyah or not is a great shiloh. But either way, each one of us has something that no one else has to contribute.
You know, Rav Gusman used to water his own garden.
Yeah.
Every single morning before, and they used to say, he said, I lived from the earth, from the peak of the dew on the earth.
That's right, because he was in the with the group that ran away,
Right.
and he got hadracha from his Rav about the different plants that could keep him alive, and so during that time, he had Hames Hakaras Hatov, and he enjoyed watching the kids in parades. He had like, what are you doing? He came from the Holocaust. He had a different perspective than the typical Haredi Gadol. He did. Rav Alman, he was very close with the Nobel professor, the Nobel Prize, the math professor. Anyways, a lot of amazing stories that you could check. You could check them out. Some great stories. Either way, that's the message of Moshe to Yitro, according to the Ein Bekdav and others, that it wasn't just a physical Gashmios question of coming to Israel. It's that you are not a candle. You are a sun. You are. It's a great message. And all of us, everyone here is involved in our own lives, about our own values, and all of us involved in chinuch of friends, neighbors, children, whoever it may be. And we have to light each one up and go give that confidence. You mamish have something that no one else has. It's true. That's the Gemara. Okay, so that's the first point, a very, very important point. Another point is we have Parshas. When I say Parshat, I don't mean Parsha Shavua, I mean in parentheses, about Pesach Sheni, where people are coming and saying, hey, we don't, what's it called? We didn't have a chance to do the first Pesach, and we want to. And they pushed it through. And some say because they pushed for it, Hashem passed it down. I said, oh, I see, you thirst. You thirst for the mitzvah, that's amazing. So Shlishi Tevi, make the Pesach, and he goes to the halachas of Pesach, and then Hanashim Yutumein LeNefesh Dam Lo Yachlu Lasos Pesach B'Yamahu V'Yikvu L'nei Moshe L'nei Aaron B'Yamahu, and they came and they said, we're Tumeim, and why should we lose out? And let me hear what God says. He said to them, and then he gave over the halacha of Pesach Sheni. So, I doubt too many of us have ever learned Hilchos Pesach Sheni. You have some people that you have a little matzah on Pesach Sheni, and they don't say tachanos. Everyone's excited about that, even though the woman may not appreciate this so much, but the men do, even though it's not a good thing. When it's a happy occasion, Rosh Chodesh, Moed, there's a chassan in the shul, so you don't say tachanon. And it's something that the men really have to work on. It's not a good midah at all. And sometimes, so tachanon Monday, Thursday is a long tachanon. And if there's a bris or something, and the moel is there, or the father, sandig is there, so then they clap, kaddish, no tachanon, and then you see like all the excitement. Like, yeah, no tachanon. And it's not kavod for the tefillah. It's not. Person feels it, they feel it, but you shouldn't act on it. You feel, okay, I got 5 extra minutes today. I can learn a little extras, whatever it is, but it shouldn't be like an excitement. But either way, so all we know about Pesach Sheni today is what? That there's no tachan on Pesach Sheni, and many have the minhag to eat what? Matzah. Not a chiyuv, but it's a cute little minhag. Fine. But there's real halachas. There's real halachas of Pesach Sheni, and it's not in the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch doesn't have Hilchos Korbanos, but of course it is in Hilchos, in the Rambam, in Hilchos Korban Pesach. And he goes through the halachas, and 58 years ago, this became halacha l'maisa from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Zecher Tzadik Levracha. Mishi Atami B'Shashchitas HaPesach. He was Tameh, or B'derech Rechoka. And something happened. He could not bring the first korban. Then, of course, he brings what? Pesach Sheni. So Perek Chamishi, the Rambam in Hilchos Korban Pesach goes through. He goes through it. And he goes to Allah after he was shogeg. What about the first time he was shogeg? Second time he was shogeg. Maze at shogeg, how it all works. Misha b'derech rechoka, if he's far away. And then you have to define what far away means. What if he didn't have a bris milah? Well, he can't bring the first Pesach. Could he bring the makeup Pesach? What's the answer? No. And Ariel, he can't bring the first one. He can't bring the second one either. Hakatan gershin iskayer. Mazel tov. He converted between a week before Pesach Sheni, he converted. So as a Gentile, he wasn't obligated in Pesach Rishon. So does he do Pesach Sheni? Nice question. He didn't have the original chiyuv. And maybe the mitzvah is only to make up what I missed. I didn't miss anything. Right? Nice question. Keshes Gayer, Ben Pesach Rishon, or Katan. The Bat Mitzvah was a week ago. He didn't have an obligation 3 weeks ago. So does he make up something he didn't miss? What a nice question. Chayavin lasos Pesach Sheni. Yes, they have a chayav. It is a makeup, but not a typical makeup. It's something unique about it. Wow, what about women that missed the first one? How does that work out? What does that mean, far away? Mi shahaya beino leben Yerushalayim yom arba'asa im aliyat hashesh chamishasa mil. He's 15 mil away from Yerushalayim. That's called derech rechoka, 15 mil. Yeah, that's in those days. What about now? When 15 mil, 15 kilometer, give or take, a kilometer is a mil maybe, give or take, that's a couple minutes in a car. So do we go the time that it took to go 15 mil? It's an objective distance. So, and how far is it? Where is that exactly today? Based on this, anyone have the time?
20 after?
20 after, okay, good. Okay, so based on this, 1967, where there was the most famous iconic picture, the three Chayalim, and the most famous three words of the 20th century, Har Habayit B'Yadeinu, which unfortunately was a nice statement, but we didn't act on it properly. To go ahead, have Har Habayit B'Yadeinu, and then run after the waqf and go, here are the keys, please, take it back. That is not a follow-up to Har Habayit B'Yadeinu. That's Har Habayit B'Yadechem, and we feel a little guilty. We got it. We lost a few boys because of it. Here, take it back. One of the sickest historical moves in history, up there with giving back Gush Katif. We're very, very smart people most of the time. There are times that we are just mamish mentally retarded. We're just something so tipesh and so foolish and so sick about us that it's just weird. Anyway, so that was one of our sick moments. But that statement, Har Habayit B'Yadeinu, still had some meaning. Okay, now it has meaning again. It is, we're taking it back again slowly. Baruch Hashem. Oh, thank you. And Lubavitcher Rebbe took the Har Habayit B'Yadeinu statement literally, and he said, wait. He told his Hasidim the next Pesach, he made an announcement, get out of the area from Yerushalayim to Modi'in, to not be there, unless you are going to bring the Korban Pesach. Because if you don't bring the Korban Pesach, and you are in that vicinity, and he defined, I think, till Modi'in, if I'm not mistaken, and then you are chayav what? Liable for what? Car race. For not bringing Korban Pesach. And he told his Hasidim, stay out of that area. It was a groundbreaking Pesak, and there's articles written on that topic, and that explained the Rebbe's position. And he held that, that's it, you don't want to play around with this. Someone who doesn't bring the Korban, who's obligated, chayav kares. And if you're derech rechoka, you're far away, that's some level of exemption. But if not, that's it. That lasted about 7-8 years, and eventually he did paskin by the mid-70s already. If I understand correctly, he already paskin that what he could be in Yerushalayim. because Har Habayit B'Yadeinu is just a quote. There's no chance, just like before 67, there was zero chance that we could bring the Korban Pesach, and therefore halachically we're defined as what? What's the halachic category? When you're stuck and you are not capable of performing a mitzvah. It starts with an aleph. Ones, right? All right. Ones, anus, where it's not in our control. So he went back to saying in 75, give or take, we're back to 66. Well, anus, there's no chance, we're not in control, and therefore you could be in Yerushalayim. Very, very dramatic psak by Lubavitcher Rebbe. Someone told me I have to check that Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, the chief rabbi of Israel, said the same thing till he died. He never changed the psak, and he told people to say, well, that's easily verifiable. We can ask Rav Eliyahu, his son in Tzfat, who's the Rav Rashi of Tzfat, about that story. But either way, this is the Lubavitcher Rebbe story, and it's a fascinating one. So anyway, let's just...
Are you allowed to run away?
What?
If you're living in Jerusalem.
Very good, very good. So that shows that the Rebbe's paskening that when you're semi-stuck, that you should be, but you can't really. So just make sure you're out of the zone. I guess he said that it could be he would not say that if we really have the Mikdash. If you really have the Mikdash, bring the Korban. What?
If we have the Mikdash, there's no question.
Right, but I'm saying if he really had it in that time, he would say, no, you can't run away. But it was in this sort of gray zone. That was his advice. Amazing. It wasn't advice, I think it was a psak that he gave. He was very, very unique. Always had like different ideas, thought different than everyone else. But he was so bold, so creative.
They never celebrated Pesach in the desert except at one time. So for those people who missed it, so what? You're not going to celebrate for 40 years. They didn't do Pesach because they weren't. The new generation didn't have a circumcision.
Right.
Danger, and they might have to move anytime.
But wait,
so they didn't have any. They didn't have a Pesach again until Joshua was going to enter the land. That was the first time they had Pesach.
Interesting. You're saying the people themselves who had the bris milah.
The new generation didn't.
The new generation, but the older generation.
They died off in the desert.
Right, but before they died, they didn't bring it each year, you're saying?
No, they said they didn't celebrate another Pesach until they entered the land.
We have to check that out. I hear what you're saying. I mean, in Parakane, Yeshua discusses the Pesach that they did in Eretz Yisrael. We got to check that out. I hear what you said.
They made matzah with wine.
We got to check. It's an interesting point.
But the matzah, they lived Egypt.
Right, but what about the mitzvah to eat matzah each year? That's the mitzvah each year. That's a good question. We have to check that out. Hey, just to summarize. So first we had the discussion with Moshe and Yitro. What went on over there? Was it just argument physically I need to go back? I'm not old. I'm too old. This and that. Or was the spiritual reason I could have more hashpan influence there than here? Back and forth. And Yitro, Moshe said, you could do it. You could do it. You already proved uniqueness in your advice, and you could continue. You can be an ambassador to nations. You can contribute. That's a great message for every one of us. Each one of us has our unique qualities that we contribute. Then you have Hilchos Korban Pesach Sheni. Nowadays, all it means is no tachlin and eating matzah. It's not halacha, but a minhag have it. But there's real halachas in Parakane, the Rambam Korban Pesach, and then that led to a very dramatic psak from the Rebbe's itself. That he told for a few years, because he said, I don't think we have the category of honest that we're stuck, because hopefully we're going to work it out with the government. It never happened, but that's what he thought, and therefore he just told them to go to Modi'in and beyond, so you're not halachically defined as derech karovi, derech rechoka, so at least you're not chayav kares. B'yetz Hashem, by next Pesach, that's going to be an academic discussion. We'll have the Mikdash, we'll have the Korban Pesach, we'll have those who are tamei, maybe couldn't bring in, they'll have Pesach Sheni, and it'll be really back to the biblical proportions again. It's Hashem. Okay, good Shabbos, everyone. Good Shabbos.